So our next topic for discussion is, are we really dead if we don't know English? So yes, of course, language is a big barrier in terms of getting admitted in certain institutions, especially higher institutions. And English becomes a compulsory subject in almost every selection exam that we go through. So I think, yes, of course, it's a big barrier.
Be our mother language, be Bengali or Hindi, we should know English, because if we go to abroad for our further studies or for jobs, so they only can use English, they only know English. Like in South, it's a very big problem regarding this language. So if we know English, then we can communicate with them easily, but if we don't know English, then it's really tough to communicate with them.
If we see, there are hundreds of languages in the world, so it's not possible for someone to learn even half of this language to communicate with other people staying in different parts of the world. So English is something that brings us to a common point, which it's a common language which helps in exchanging ideas. Even if we see the national struggle of India, English played a major role in it, because since English was there, people from various parts of India, specifically South India and North India, if we see, the language was not different. So English gave them a common platform to come together to discuss their ideas. So yes, English is a must to come to a common platform.
I think the continuation of English, and even you said the national struggle, is nothing but a form of cultural imperialism which continues till date. So I believe that this kind of cultural imperialism continues in the countries which were erstwhile part of the British Commonwealth. And even in the national struggle, the predominance of English restricted the national movement to be an elitist movement. And that is the reason English being an elitist language, it becomes difficult and kind of discriminatory when we continue to uphold English as the language, and being a foreign language, it becomes difficult for certain sections to actually cultivate that language.
Okay, so we are sitting in an institution which itself started with the intention of creating English educated middle class in India at the British period. So, but in that time, they learned English, fine, but they did not forget or did not disrespect their mother tongue. But now what we are doing is we are only just concerned about the trend, and we do not focus on our mother tongue. I have seen people who are very much happy with the fact that their children, they do not know anything about Bengali or whatever their mother tongue is.
We cannot be dead if we don't know one language, because thousands of people are surviving without knowing English. So at the end of the day, English is only a medium of communication.
Without English, in this world, economically, it is difficult to survive, because in most jobs, educational institutions, English becomes the most important language, which is essential.
So when we talk about survival and education, we are basically giving into this Western idea of hegemony and trying to promote this by saying this, rather than trying to bring structural changes. In sitting in presidency, carrying the legacy of 200 years, this is not what we should be doing, I feel. We as Bengalis should try to cultivate a feeling of critical thinking that has been the striking feature of Presidency College.
And I believe when we are talking about, when we are bringing in the term survival, I'm sure we are not talking along the lines of Herbert Spencer. Because when we are saying that if we don't know English, we are dead, it means that English becomes the basis for our survival. That shouldn't be the thing. That's why I said in the beginning, it becomes a barrier for the ones who are not good in English. What the demand is now, it's something like you have to be fluent in English. That is what most of the job selection criteria tells us when we apply for jobs. So that's why I use the term barrier.
Yes, I agree. But then, taking cue from Charles Darwin's survival of the fittest, if you cannot compete in this world, then you are actually eliminated. So what is essential is that I think it is essential to question why English should be the major means of communication. There are countries like Germany, Japan, which have become successful without borrowing the language of English. As a borrowed concept, we have not been able to come out of that colonial legacy where English still reigns rampant and is still dominated.
I do not believe that only if you are English educated you are liberal. That is again another very wrongly established notion that we have. And yes, that's what I want to say in response to what she says.
I would just like to respond. This is just a clarification. I did not equate English educated with liberal. I just said that post-independence, India's planning was shaped by liberal educated English intelligentsia, and we have not been able to come out of colonial legacy. I absolutely agree that liberal and English should not be connected or linked. It is not that they are interconnected with each other. Even people not knowing English can be very liberal, and people knowing English can be the most conservative to a vehement extent.
When you talk about liberalism, we have to keep in mind that the main pioneer who formulated liberalism was a person called Jean Rousseau, who was a French himself. So in that context, we have to remember these ideas are universal. And when we talk about liberalism again, liberalism is nothing absolutely good. It's just an ideology like Marxism, feminism, everything. So it has good points, it has bad points. Now, when we talk about English, English as a point of communication is a common minimum. That's necessary. But the point is there is nothing to overrate it like a bare necessity of life.
Even if we talk about Tagore, who was one of the leading figure, the huge figure of Indian Bengali literature, he had to translate his Gitanjali in English in order to get that Nobel Prize.
Why English is the main medium of communication? If we have to understand this thing, we have to place it in the historical context of the thing. This thing goes back to the expansion of European capitalism, European liberalism, and English literature. These things are connected. These things went to the New World, to India, colonization, these things took place. So history took its course, and we cannot do it. So we are just a party to history. All we can do is to act now so that we can change history in the future course. But we cannot neglect the burden that we are carrying. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Another thing which I would like to mention is that knowing English is, I have seen several people who not knowing English deliberately taking spoken English classes to get a job. So it is not about learning a language or knowing a language in its proper grammatical sense. It is just knowing or understanding a particular language for the sake of getting a job.
I think what he was trying to say is, this is a fact that we are living in this situation, but I think he was saying that we should change this rather than we are supporting this, and we are just giving support to this view. I think what he was saying that we should change.
I would just like to say one thing. The basic, if you go through several scholars, articles and books on public administration, one of the basic criticisms leveled against the UPSC is that writing answers in regional languages creates regional bias, as also it puts the students at a disadvantageous position than those students who are writing their answers in English.